How does this add to our understanding of the first passage?
It's either page 103 or it's going to be like men's health. Yeah, good question.
Well, what do we notice? But what's a difference between the two scraps?
The font.
A font? Okay. What else?
Two different subjects. Well, actually, no, eating hot dogs, is it healthy or not? Men's health.
They're both about nutrition and food.
Yeah.
So, or at least kind of in the same genre, but they might not be related whatsoever.
What is something physically different between the two?
Well, the print.
Well, the print, the way it looks.
Never mind what it looks like, the physical paper. What is about the pieces?
Oh, well, this one's smoother and cut. The other one's just a ripped off, like, piece.
Right, so this one's been ripped out all the way around.
This one is like the bottom of like a piece of paper.
The bottom?
So if it's ripped on the bottom and square at the top, so it means it's the top,
It'd be the top.
right corner of a page.
Okay,
Right, top
good.
right corner.
I think that's a valid interpretation. I agree with that. Since we're all expert archaeologists from 2,000 years from now, we're going to agree on that. So, Carissa, we just agreed that one of the main differences between these two is that this is ripped out of the middle of something, and this is the edge. Okay. So, if this is the edge, and the font is different, we could probably conclude that this is talking about what issue we're reading, and this is the page number of that issue. And then this is the text of the article. Okay?
That's what we're thinking.
That's what we're thinking. We can't know for sure, but we think, well, we don't know.
We're not sure because
we found
they're
them close
different
together.
Yeah.
Okay, we found them close together.
The print's different, but then again, on books and stuff, the print can be separate, different.
Magazine headings are always different like that.
Right.
Okay. All right, so then somebody hollers out, oh, I found something else. And they find one more. And it looks like they are all from the same small area. Look at what that one says.
1974 competitive ski season.
Okay, how does that perhaps add, when it comes back, to what we've got going on with the other? We've got eat hot dogs for breakfast in an issue of Men's Health. In an article that seems, if we assume that it's all part of the same page, in an article that's talking about the 1974 competitive ski season.
So I would think that maybe some of the guys who were in the ski season, that's what they, like, it was maybe listing the things that they ate while they were training or something.
Okay. And
For Men's Health, they skied and ate hot dogs.
What's that?
That would
Kind of
be
the same thing.
unlikely.
Well,
They would eat like that.
did you ever see?
I
No,
remember
it wouldn't be
things like
unlikely. Did you see like when they went through the eating habits of who was that swimmer who was like an amazing?
The Olympic.
oh, Mark, yeah,
Mark
the most
Spitz?
recent one, not Mark
Yeah,
Spitz,
that-
but
No.
Recently?
And-
I forget.
He was like the
We know who
biggest
we're
like
talking about.
swimmer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that guy they were talking about his eating, and it was like how many calories he took in every day was amazing.
Calories.
so the point I want to, before we just spend too much time here, the point I want to bring out is we have to make assumptions
Right. We did.
Right.
based on our knowledge of their culture and based on the pieces we have to go by. Now, we might find some more pieces to help round it out, but basically, given this here, we might make a reasonable assumption that they're talking about the diet of a competitive skier.
Right.
But I purposely put in 1974 and competitive, the word competitive, because back in those years, there was a time when we used the term, and this is a really limited time, we used to say hot dogs are people that like to show off their skill.
Oh, right.
Right?
Right.
Okay.
So if you know that, and then you're talking about a competition, perhaps this is an interview, and this guy says, I eat hot dogs for breakfast. Right?
Oh, right.
Totally different.
Yeah, it would be.
So my whole point in this exercise is to say how difficult it can be and how much a tiny bit of information can completely change what we're reading. Now, hopefully we have a lot more to go on than a few isolated rips, but I wanted to give you an illustration.
Very good.
Okay. Hopefully this one will stay on.
ERP.
So we've probably seen in some medieval, town crier or something. So what does that say?
Well, hear ye, hear ye.
Okay. Now, context, as you're seeing, context is king. That's what I think. But there's all kinds of contexts. A historical context, the time period. What is the state of the language? Languages change. English has changed in just a few hundred years to where you can barely read it if it's 500, 600, 700 years ago. In fact, they have different names for it because it's really, really different. Well, okay, hear ye, hear ye. This is something we've heard a lot. Hear ye, in some announcement. Okay? Well, have you perhaps seen something like this?
Yeah.
Ye old country shop, right?
Yep.
Well, I want to tell you, there is no such word in the English language that can be used like this as ye. There is perhaps a word ye meaning you, but there is no ye that you could use at the front of a description like this. No such word. How did we end up with that? Well, there used to be a letter in English called a thorn.
The what?
A thorn.
Thorn.
We used to have a letter called a thorn. It's called that because the sound it makes is the TH like thing. Like you would spell the words the and thing and that and this would start with the letter thorn. This would be thorn, H-I, or thorn I-S, this. Or thorn
So
E.
Y-I-S.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of TH, you would have thorn, whatever. Thorn E would be the.
Right there.
It's still present in almost any font, and I just put up some different fonts here to show you that they still make it. You can still use it.
That's a thorn.
That's a thorn. Okay? Now, see the way they did this one? This is a little more like how it used to be a long time ago when they wrote it by hand. And that is a thorn. The old country shop. So let's move that up.
Interesting. It actually looks like a TH when you say it.
So let's put it down to the smaller version that I had a minute ago, which is the same letter I used when I made that.
Hear thee, hear thee.
Yeah. And so that's what a Y looks like in this font. You can see that there's a kind of a difference. The big difference is really not the top, it's really the bottom. This is actually... So this is a picture actually of an original, it's a facsimile of an original Wycliffe Bible. And you can see this letter here, the thorn. You can see it all over. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was at God, and God was the Word. This was in the, and here's why, it's beginning, all things were made by him, and without, yeah, this is English.
Okay. Wow.
From the 1350, 1385. Without him was made no thing that was made. See it all? Yeah. So anyway, and you can see especially here, that really looks like ye. And this is a little bit, there's a little stroke there too that connects it, that makes it the thorn. Anyway, most people don't know that letter. And it's not important that you do. I just am bringing it out to show you how things change in a language over time. Here's some more English. I think most people have, at one point or another, read this verse from Genesis. And I hear people all the time, when it's on the subject, talking about wanting a helpmeet. But there is no such thing as a helpmeet. If you're thinking of a mate, you could kind of tell yourself it means helpmate, but it doesn't. That word meet at that time in our language meant suitable, proper,